This episode of Good Times, Great Movies is sponsored by beer. Whether it's PBR, Heineken, or Budweiser, listeners of Good Times, Great Movies enjoy the cool, refreshing taste of beer. Jamie,
Yep.
let's go watch Blue Velvet. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We are an 80s movie podcast, which means that every 2 weeks we watch a movie from the 80s and then we talk about that movie. My name's Doug McCambridge. I'm one of your two hosts. With me, as always, is Jamie Lorello, appearing to be hooked up to some sort of oxygen mask, or I guess not hooked up to it. I mean,
no, I just keep taking hits off of it.
Right.
I put it up to my face and I inhale, and then I become like ragingly violent after.
Right, yes.
Like, yeah.
You're in a car and suddenly you forget that there's a bunch of other people in that car.
What is that he's sniffing? What is...
Don't know.
It's pretty heavy stuff. It's pretty heavy stuff.
It must be.
Yeah.
I like how he just has his own little personal tank.
Yeah.
He just must wear it around, and it must not weigh a whole lot either.
It's pretty inconspicuous. The mask is really the biggest part of the whole thing, and because we don't ever really see it. I don't know where the mask is, what it's hooked up to, unless the mask itself is like laced with something, and like all he has to do is put the mask on to get any of the fumes.
No, because you hear him turning knobs on a tank. Like, you hear the knob going, and then whatever's in there, you can hear that, like, being
I don't know. I'm not familiar
released.
with that hardcore kind of drugs. What would it be? Take a guess. What
is it? Hardcore?
I mean, you're
I assume it is
attaching something to your face
hardcore.
and then sucking it out of a tank. It's not like smoking a joint or like...
No, I know, but it seems counterproductive. He has an entire tank that he has to walk around with.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to, as you said, produce this from nowhere.
Yeah.
We never just see his jacket open, like, while he's walking,
No.
and just see, like, a tank
No.
and a mask. It's just there when he needs
And
it.
when he does it in the car, where is it? They're all squished in that car when he takes the neighbor for a ride. There's so many people in that car.
I love it. It's like they're sitting on each other's laps. They seem like a really crazy gang, but they also seem to be having a good time all the time.
I don't know what that... I guess, depending on your definition of a good time. I mean, like, what's that house they go to?
That is my favorite part of this movie, where they, like, walk into a John Waters movie for a couple minutes.
Yes.
I'm like, who are these older ladies that are just
hanging out by the one bedroom door? I guess they're... I don't know.
And I did want to look it up because I want to know how many times Dennis Hopper says the word fuck in this movie, because it has to be like a million.
It's a lot of fucks, and they're very aggressive fucks. They're not like a fuck or, you know.
I like it when he's like, let's toast to fucking. And then he goes like, say, here's to your fuck. What? That doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, let's do it, because this is a lot of fun.
Yeah. I like his little gaggle of Goonies, I guess. That's what they are, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't say I like them.
None of them really have a personality.
Well, there's the one that
refers to a
repeats
few
his
by
name constantly. The one that, and he says, "Hi, I'm Paul."
Right.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Yes. That guy is probably the most terrifying one of the group. If that's all you're doing is constantly introducing yourself and then laughing about
and
it.
And the other guy plays a goon in another movie. I can't think of the movie.
Are you talking about
the skinnier dude with the long hair?
The skinnier dude. Yeah, why can't I think of his name? He does the voice of Chucky in those Chucky movies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Brad Dourif.
Okay.
Brad Dourif. I don't know how to say his last
Dourif?
name. And even you're talking about the guy who has the receding hairline but the very long hair.
Yes.
The guy who is just making out with that other woman on the couch. when they leave.
That's the other guy.
And Frank's like, you like him? You want to come with us? Come on, let's go. Let's all pile in this car.
She's the lady that dances later, isn't she? The lady that's just like dancing on the rooftop when Kyle MacLachlan's getting his ass kicked. Oh, this movie.
I love it.
Oh, this Blue Velvet. I probably sing maybe a little better than Isabella Rossellini.
I gotta say, she sounds a lot better now. I didn't think. I didn't think her singing was great.
I didn't get to warm up. And I'm not wearing Blue Velvet.
Was that it?
I didn't do a vocal warm up. I needed lemon tea to help with that. Maybe if I sing again midway through the podcast, it'll sound better.
Is that the only song she sings? Is that the only song she sings at this club? I love when they go there. Why do they go there when they're going to break into her place? I'm like, wait. Once you see that she's there, shouldn't you be breaking into her place at this time?
No, she's an enigma.
They watch her whole.
Yeah, they want to know.
They watch her whole act, and then they're like, "Oh, we better get.
Yeah,
we better hurry up."
Well, he's obviously drawn to her, right? So he can't help it.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah.
As you said before we started recording, she needs to get away from these men in her life.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, she needs to shoo away. She needs to quit her men. That's what she needs.
So if you didn't know by, I guess, the show title or any of this.
These were some context clues here we were laying down pretty thick. But
if you've never seen Blue Velvet, you might want to run out and see it before you listen to it.
Well, you have to be in the right mood. I want to warn you. But you should know that going into Blue Velvet.
You have to be in the right mood. Are you saying you shouldn't watch it with coffee at 9 a.m. like I did? This is a nighttime viewing. You need to watch this at night. No. The semester ended.
That's right.
Yeah.
You lucky college professors, you. And you were like, pancakes and Blue Velvet.
Pancakes, coffee, Blue Velvet. I'm set.
No, yeah.
It's very bright in this room. This movie's super dark. I can't make out most of what's happening, but all right, I'll figure it out.
Am I wrong in saying this is a liked movie by you? Didn't you enjoy? Don't you love Lynch? Enjoy David Lynch, and don't you really enjoy this movie?
I like this movie.
Okay.
I don't love it the way I do with something like Lost Highway or Mulholland Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where I hate Dune.
Okay.
It's awful. And then I would say that Eraserhead is good in that art school type of movie.
I'll take it.
And then this begins his really good work. I gotcha. But this is probably the lowest tier, in my opinion, of his work. Okay. I think everything after this, it's an amazing run from this movie until, I don't know, he hasn't put out a movie in 10, 15 years, but there's an amazing run of like 7 movies where I think they're all fantastic. Yeah. And I think it starts with this one, but as
this
I said,
one being the weaker.
The lowest.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not as, this is going to sound strange, it's not as weird as I like.
Well, we're about to go through it, and yeah, okay. No, but I see.
It's a little more straightforward than the films of his that I really enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That was a good, thoughtful explanation.
And you know what? And I would say to our audience, happy belated Mother's Day. You're getting this after Mother's Day, and what a Mother's Day film, really.
Really,
with all of
it's How to Love Your Mother, in a very in a very different way.
I mean, we don't really dissect our movies, so I don't think we need to really get into it.
Oh, we could, though. There's so many.
Is this like a weird, is this a Freudian kind of Oedipal, like you want to have sex with your mom type thing? Like, is that what's happening here? Is it like id and ego and superego? I don't know.
I guess there's elements of that in there.
Is any of this real? Is any of this really happening too?
Oh, is it all just... I wondered that at one point too. Wait, are you going down the same thought too? I wondered if we're meant to think that the whole thing that his brain got attached to, this solving this case, was not really a thing. right? Is that what you're saying?
And I feel like I'm kind of retconning that because of movies like Lost Highway, where a big chunk of that probably isn't happening. And you find out in Mulholland Drive that most of what you saw in the first half wasn't real.
But in this, it's not as clear cut as if real or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because there's also other, I guess I'll say, statements that it's making.
And I think it's really like at the very end when you just see his dad and his dad's like, I'm fine now. Hey, how you doing, son? Everything's great. And then they see a robot bird. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, those robot birds, huh? Trippy, the robins. Yeah, but then they have that whole discussion. 2 hours. You got to know when you're going into this that, I don't know. I guess watching it with coffee might be good. Maybe that's why you're coming to these different realizations with it.
Right,
maybe.
right. Because I was with it.
You were, yeah. But I'd never seen it. I have to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had never seen it, and
wow.
I felt.
Had you at least heard of the performance, like the Frank Booth character, who I think is sort of an infamous.
Yeah, I've heard
character.
about Dennis. I was going to call him Rodman for a minute, and he's not. But that would have been an interesting choice.
A very different movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
He might be able to do it. He might be able to do it.
He's kind of crazy. No,
with him, you'd be like, oh, I can see where he's hiding the oxygen tank and the drugs because he's a big man.
He's a huge man. Yeah.
Very tall.
Yeah.
Who knows
yeah,
where
who
that
knows what it's under or where it's hiding. I knew about it, and I think that I was always faked. You know when you have those things that you feel like you're not cool for not seeing, so when people bring it up, you're just like, oh yeah, Blue Velvet, yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. I think that is how I always played this movie. And then when I sat down to watch it, I was thinking of Lost Highway, which I watched with you actually because you enjoyed it. And I thought, this isn't that. This is not that.
You're sitting there going, when's Bill Pullman showing up? We're like an hour 20 into this thing. Balthazar Getty, where are you?
No, but we do. The performances in here they're wow.
I mean, yeah.
Laura Dern's such an ugly crier. I love her.
Oh my
She's
God,
fantastic.
she looks like a sad clown. It looks like she has the sad clown makeup on her face.
She makes this crazy face, and it works for her now, and I see, but they were also very young in this, too. Dennis Hopper still looks, but he's a young Dennis Hopper, but he still looks like an older guy, yeah. Right. Laura Dern is supposed to play a high schooler. I don't buy it. She doesn't look like she's in high school. And Kyle McLaughlin is what I was going to say, but whatever. He is a college, right? He's home from college.
Yeah, I think at one point they do say he's a college sophomore.
Okay.
So he's probably, 20? And I think she's a high school senior, so she's probably 18.
Yeah. She looks older.
Yeah.
She looks older.
I think I love Kyle MacLachlan because of the David Lynch connection.
Sure.
But I've never been impressed with his acting.
What about his tush?
Whoa. Wow. Yep. I think we see some side dick too. I'm not sure, but when he's running with his clothes to go in the closet.
Yeah.
I do other than, I'm not going to say Laura Dern's performance wasn't good or I guess brave, but I would say that, I know they're professionals, but man, to be like, oh, in this scene, I'm just naked standing in front of a house, in front of, I guess, the football team with lacerations all over my body, and I'm just going to wander down the steps. That is an amazing thing to do, to commit to on camera.
How about that horrible hairdo they had her wear for
that is awful. I was so glad it was a wig.
Me too.
And I have seen this movie a couple of times, but it's been a long time. And when she took that wig off, I was like, thank God. And then she's in it again. Like, why are you doing this?
I'm like, please, it's not.
That permed hair, that is awful.
It's not a good look for her. It's not. She's a beautiful woman, too, but the hair is just awful.
That hair is terrible. And you take that hair and the aggressive eye makeup. It's like, wow.
It is. Yeah, they do get a little very blue with the shadows, which makes sense. We are in Blue Velvet.
Oh, there's not enough Blue Velvet in this. It's just basically a robe.
Well, in the beginning, the whole opening sequence is this, like, you are Blue Velvet. You're in it, right? Literally. It's just like a screen of Blue Velvet for the opening credits.
Wrapped up in it. You're shoving
and
it in your mouth.
It. I was like, I was shoving it in your mouth. How disturbing is that? And then when the other guy dead in the and when he goes to put it in Kyle MacLachlan's mouth, I was like, what is going to happen here? I'm getting uncomfortable.
I love it. One of my favorite things about this is when he puts on the lipstick and he doesn't just kiss him once. He gives him multiple kisses all over his face. And then he like uses the Blue Velvet to like wipe it off.
Yeah.
Take us through this.
Well, there's a lot that happens, so I'm going to try to hit the points. And there's a lot visually that happens, too, which makes this movie, even though many times it's very disturbing, there's such trippy visuals in it, which is David Lynch, obviously, doing his thing. But it's really, it's quite a ride. And then just some random things that happen. Like okay, in our opening, all right, so his dad... There's a man mowing a lawn or watering a lawn.
Watering, yeah.
And he has a heart attack.
Watering because the dog.
That's what I was going to say when he drops the hose. So he waters the lawn and he has some kind of heart attack and he falls back, right? And then the hose is angled in a way where it looks like his penis taking a pee. And the dog comes up and is like licking at it.
And that dog is stomping on his crotch. Did you see that dog just bouncing on the guy's crotch while
I thought about that.
The water?
Sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, what is that? What was that like to be filmed? I wondered, what was that? How many takes did it take for that dog to be that in love with the hose and the stream? But maybe the dog was I don't know.
It's one of those dogs on Frasier. I think you can teach them to do anything.
Yeah, they are.
What are those? What are those called?
Frasier
Jack
dogs?
Russells.
They're crazy, though, but they will...
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Clearly.
I guess they're just made for acting.
Yeah, they're screen dogs. Anyway, this man that has this heart attack on this lawn.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like grabbing his neck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's spazzing.
He's in the full like traction.
Yeah, he has like a halo over his head. Yeah.
Does anybody ever say what happened to this guy?
No, but it looks like maybe he hurt his neck somehow, like injured
I didn't know if it was a heart attack or a stroke or I don't know. Kyle MacLachlan's parents are very old.
Yeah. Do we even... So wait, the two... Okay. P.S. The town is Lumberton, right?
Of course
Lumberton is the town. Does he live with his mother and aunt, or is it both two aunts that he lives with?
No. The one woman is his mother.
Okay.
The other... The older of the two, she's in all sorts of, Yeah. Is she the woman that played Billy Madison's grandmother?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I get those two old ladies.
Yeah, they have
confused.
similar looks. I don't think it is.
But she's been in a lot of Lynch stuff.
Yeah.
She was in Twin Peaks. She was in Fire Walk with Me. But anyway, yes, I don't know if she lives with them or if it's like your husband's in the hospital.
So
maybe
I'll be staying with you.
Someone around.
Okay. So after he leaves his father in the hospital, which is a weird interaction too, right? With the father and the halo and trying to talk to him through the trach in his throat. And you're just like, what the heck? Then he takes a walk back.
Can we say that he has to walk through like a meadow to get to his hospital?
Yeah. This Lumberton town is odd. It's an odd town.
We see that he can drive. We see that he has a
Very cool car.
But he has to walk through the woods and a field to get to the hospital.
Yeah.
And possibly to get to the police station. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's a quiet walk. It's a somber walk. And he sees... What is he? Oh, he's throwing rocks.
Yeah.
And when he reaches the ground to look for, I guess, the right rock to throw, he finds an ear.
Yeah, there are times in this movie where it almost feels like the direction is, all right, so Kyle MacLachlan, you're a kid. I don't know. What do kids do? Do they just like throw rocks? Do they do weird chicken walks? What do kids do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Chicken walk thing.
And then for the rest of this movie, it's like, no,
sweet.
You're an adult. Let's get into this shit.
Yeah.
It's an abrupt turn in his character.
Well, he has to take that turn. I feel like maybe that happens when he meets, I don't know Isabella Rossellini's name in the movie.
Dorothy,
that's right, Dorothy. I did know that, sorry. I think that when he meets Dorothy, he like instantly grows up. Because the injury on his father, obviously, so he finds this ear and he wraps it up and he decides to take it to the detective. I love how easy the detective is. Can I see Detective blah, blah, blah? Yeah, he's in that room right up the stairs.
Yeah, go in.
Yeah.
I love how
no questions
I love
asked.
how no one reacts to this ear. I love like the cop is like, yep. That's a human ear.
That's definitely an ear.
Mm-hmm.
The cop's interactions with him and his like his pacing is really kind of funny.
Oh,
very.
Yeah, I just in Lynch's films, most all of them, and I don't know what he tells actors, but they seem uncomfortable a lot of the time. Like the line delivery seems stilted and strange. Right. Sometimes when he and Laura Dern are talking to each other, I'm like, this is difficult to try and listen to. You don't sound like you're human beings talking.
No, sometimes she's emoting like she's on like in a theater or something. You know what I mean? Like she's in some kind of like reading a monologue or like you know. It's very...
like you have to project. You have to hit the back. The back row needs to. Like, nope, you're on a movie set. It's fine. You can play normal.
But I think that's done with purpose.
Oh, I think so too. Yes. Yeah. I think everything is meant to make you as the viewer uncomfortable. Yeah. Even normal human interactions don't feel right in this movie.
It does have, and again, maybe this is a very Lynchy thing. It has like a 1940s, 50s movie feel with even the acting being like stiffer and then of course a little Twilight Zone-y at times where you're like, what? Why would we go through the dirt really intensely for a little while and we get a very intense close-up of the ear and the ear has some hair in it, so I was convinced. First I was like, is it the singer? Does Isabella Rossellini only have one ear? What the hell? But it's a very hairy ear we see, and I thought that doesn't belong to beautiful Isabella.
To her.
Sweet Dorothy.
She's not
sweet
hairy at all.
Dorothy. No.
The hair on her head's not even hers.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, no. See, then I would point out every random thing. Like when he leaves his house to go for a walk, there's some random Mexican guy, some angry Mexican guy standing there just during his walk. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And I love how I guess this movie's supposed to take place in the 50s or 60s, something like that. He dresses like, his dress is business casual.
Yes.
And he doesn't dress like he would be a 20-year-old of any time period. Everything. He's wearing sport coats all the time. Yeah. Button-up shirts, tucked into his dress slacks. Yeah. Like he never just wears jeans and a t-shirt. Like, no. I'm not saying that he should be a greaser, but he looked like a wealthy, affluent, like he should be on a yacht with the Trump kids or something. It's a bizarre look for any quote unquote kid.
Yeah. But that sweet little Kyle. Wait, his name is Jeffrey, right? Jeffrey?
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes. Nobody calls him Jeff. It's Jeffrey. My name's Jeffrey. Jeffrey what? Jeffrey nobody? I like it when he says that to her, and then she stabs him in the face. She's like, give me your wallet. I'll figure out your last name.
Boy, was she angry when she saw him, but I don't blame her.
How did he get his pants off when he was kneeling on the floor? All you hear is zip, and in the next scene he's got no pants on.
He's quick about it and doesn't even argue it. He's like, all right, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to... Here's my tush hanging out for you.
Here's my tush. Oh, I didn't know you were expecting company. Maybe you should have told me this weirdo was on his way over.
Shady men just in and out of this lady's apartment. Well, before we meet her,
yes,
he goes, the detective's
He's still bothering
daughter.
this cop. Like, he goes to his house now.
Mm-hmm. Because he's like into this mystery now. I don't know why, but now this has become his new obsession, right? His dad's dying or very injured in the hospital. To take his mind off of this worry, he's going to obsess about this ear and where it comes from. And the detective is like, listen, the only thing I can tell you is I can't tell you anything.
I love how he says that. He's like, listen,
everything.
We found out a lot of great stuff. It's super interesting. Yeah. It's going to blow your mind. I can't tell you about it, though. At some point I will. Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
Yeah. But just know that ear is very important.
It's not as great as I made it seem. I'm just kidding. It's even better. All right, sure. I'm not saying you're responsible for everything that happens after this, Mr. Policeman. You could have just lied and been like, oh, yeah, we came across a corpse. We forgot he didn't have an ear.
Yeah.
But no, it's like teasing him and sort of like egging him
this
into
huge
this
carrot.
whole thing.
Yeah. And then as he leaves and just like knowing, okay, well, I guess this is it. I don't get to know what this ear deed did for me. Laura Dern, the detective's daughter, appears, and she does know some things. She's willing to share some facts.
It's very funny. I like the coincidences of this movie where she's like, his office is right underneath my bedroom.
Yeah.
I hear everything. I'll tell you all about this. I'll tell you all about this singer. I don't know what's going on. An ear? You said you found an ear? I probably heard something about an ear earlier today.
Let's hang out. Let's go to the diner. Adele's, right? Isn't this the diner?
Is this when they walk outside and a guy lazily drives by in a car and goes, hey, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, baby. Baby. And then just drives away.
Yeah. Yeah, there's those random moments with these other actors in this movie, or like the weird Mexican guy when he's going for a run, just staring off angrily. What is it? I don't know.
I did hear once in an interview that David Lynch likes to get these extras in and then give them lines, so they are paid. So they're paid much more.
It's exciting for them,
yes. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if this was something where this guy was just supposed to walk by or drive by, and David Lynch is like, no.
You could say
I know you're not an actor,
shout
clearly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Have you watched Kyle MacLachlan? You can do this. Don't worry.
You got it. No, this is when he does the chicken dance, when they go for the walk and he does the chicken dance.
This is also when he goes, I knew a kid who lived here. He had a really big tongue. And she's like, oh, what happened? And he goes, I don't know, I guess he moved. What?
Everybody moves. That's when it got really...
The original cut of this movie was 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah. He cut half of this and he kept the chicken dance walk and he kept this big-tongued kid story.
Wow. It was relevant, I suppose. No?
Although, after he did walk like a chicken, I wrote in my notes, these two awkward goofballs are perfect for each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you see that as the movie continues. They have a nice little vibe there that they pick up. How about the two goofballs? P.S. His father. So he's met this girl. They kind of click, this daughter, and she's given him some news about the ear belonging to a singer or somehow related to the singer on the 7th floor of this apartment.
Oh, yeah,
but
she
now
takes
they're
him
just
over
getting
to show him
the apartment, yeah. And but they're kind of flirting and having a time. And then his father, who is sick or injured or whatever, owns a hardware store where the two black dudes work and the one is blind.
What is this? What is going on?
I love it. I
enjoyed it, but I was like, why do we cut to them twice?
Yeah.
And never again. And
never again.
I appreciate the fact that his father seemingly is employing, should we call him special needs if you're blind? Is that?
Well, it's not somebody you would necessarily think would work at a hardware store.
Not in the retail field, because the other guy has to read the number, the numbers of the products to him so that he can put them into the cash register. And it doesn't even appear that Kyle MacLachlan's working. He's like, I gotta, my dad, I gotta fill in. And, good thing is they gave me some pretty light hours this week. I'm like, who gave you these hours? I thought you were in charge. And he's just using his time to make personal phone calls anyway.
Right? Because, well, he's got an investigation to do.
I know. This is Hardy Boys Nancy Drew at times.
It does. Really funny. Yeah, which is really adorable. He does drive a fancy car, like I said, some kind of red convertible, right?
You know that's his dad's.
Yeah. Is Sandy her name?
Sandy is her name. I think
Sandy is her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is when they then go for lunch at the diner, the one diner in town, the corner diner that no one else is ever in, and that only he ever eats off the plate in. When they're at the diner, only he has a small plate of what looks like toast.
You're right.
But eats like fries because he takes pieces of it.
He has a tiny plate of one thing on it. Whatever it is, he's able to break it up into smaller pieces, so he eats with his hands.
Yes, but she has nothing. No, she
never
has a drink.
Eats anything.
She has a beverage.
Okay, all right, okay.
But every time they're there. Anyway, it's at their first meeting at the diner where he tells her his plan is to sneak into this woman's apartment. And she again, her sad face look and her worried look. The worried look is the softer version of the sad face. When Laura Dern's crying, like it's like her whole face is turned upside down.
Right.
Like you said, it's a very aggressive, very
her
ugly cry.
Her mouth does turn into sad clown
like
makeup.
A real frown.
It's
really
big on the sides, and it goes into it gets thinner in the middle.
But when she's worried, it has a similar but not quite as severe look.
Right.
And she's worried about him when he's talking about sneaking into the lady's apartment. She's like, I don't know, is this a good idea? Why are you so into this?
It's not a good idea. I know you need this for this movie, but I'm like, where you went from 0 to 100 here, Kyle MacLachlan. Like, okay, fine, you found an ear, and that's creepy as anything, but you're going to break into someone's apartment and, like, spy on them? I mean, I know he's not there to spy, but what's he going to do? Go through her stuff? Like, what are you hoping to find? The other ear? What are you doing?
He's trying to piece this together. And he does have a good enough plan. It doesn't take her long. It doesn't take her long to be like, I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll be the Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, when he's like, you know what? I got a bunch of watchtowers in my car. I'm like, what? How? How do you have those? I guess he's a Jehovah's Witness? I'm not sure.
I guess they frequent the neighborhood. Maybe Jehovah's Witnesses are big in Lumberton. I don't know. He also has bug spray. Yeah, no, it's great.
I mean, it's good in that she asks 0 questions when he shows
she's
up.
like I said, she's very nervous at first, and then when he gets, as long as he's got a plan, she's like, oh, okay, well, you thought about it?
Sorry. I mean, Isabella Rossellini asks no questions. It's like, I'm here to spray your apartment. All right, come on in.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
when he comes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he goes right to her apartment, too. Like, normally if they're spraying apartments, they're spraying everybody's, right? But he goes.
I like how the stairwell is an exterior entrance.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange. It's a very weird thing for them to be like, oh, that elevator, it hasn't worked in years. You got to use the stairs, which are outside.
It's an interesting building.
And the 7th floor, this must be a huge building in what appears to be a tiny town.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like a very big building.
No.
Well, maybe I'm confusing it, though, for the diner.
Wait a minute.
It doesn't look.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're like, one of them has booths. And they eat there.
No, I mean the exterior.
Right. I don't, yeah. And they do it. They do it in broad daylight, too, which is, that's gutsy.
Very risky. Her place is not very big, and he only sprays the kitchen. He only has to bug spray her kitchen.
Right.
So the plan is that Laura Dern's going to come knock on the door.
Yes.
When he's had enough time to kind of grab some stuff, right? No, distract her so that he can open a window. So that he can sneak back in. And instead, somebody different knocks. The man in the yellow jacket knocks on the door.
And the man in the yellow jacket, you can't put him in a brown jacket later in this movie. Like,
no.
He's in yellow throughout, except for one scene. And in a voiceover, Kyle MacLachlan has to go, that's the man in the yellow suit. Just so we as the audience know what's happening right now.
We recognize his round face, but yeah,
Right.
just so you know. Yeah, so he interrupts this guy, Knox, and is aggressive, like talks to her kind of
They
aggressively.
kind of just
right?
whisper.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but it does distract her enough where he sees a key or a set of keys.
A set of keys, yeah.
And he's able to take those rather than open the window.
Right, and this is a score for him. I don't know how he would guess they were the apartment keys and why she would hide them underneath a shelf in her kitchen, but hey.
Did you also notice that when they're sitting in, I guess it's when they're in the diner in the car, I looked, does Kyle MacLachlan have an earring?
Yes, he does.
How does he have
Yeah.
an ear? That
He has
wasn't
a little,
thing in the
hoopy
50s
earring.
or 60s, right? Was that
I-
just a mistake? Because I never saw it at any other time in the movie, except when I think they're in the car talking or they're in the diner talking. It's the only time I really noticed
There's
it.
another time when it's up close on
there
his
is?
face
Okay.
or on his head. Maybe when they're kissing, I'm not sure, but it's like this little
Yeah, it's like
almost
a
like
little
a
gold
half hoop or
It's like a
something.
little-
Yeah,
It's like a little hoop. And it's like that people didn't have, like guys didn't have earrings in the 50s or the 60s, right?
Who is Kyle MacLachlan? What time period is this?
Well,
How many things are we mixing here?
And that's the first
Because-
couple times I saw this movie, I just thought it had a look of the 50s and 60s,
Right.
but it was set in modern
Same.
day. Watching it this time, I went, no, this is that time period. I think. Wait,
See, I don't know.
Did we
I
even
thought
have
it had the
Heineken
look
at that
and feel.
time?
Yeah, see, no, I don't think it was the 50s and 60s. I think it was the feel of it. That's why the earring is okay, but maybe not.
wow. So because they all drive around in old cars. Even like that ambulance that shows up at the end is clearly.
Yeah. The fire truck, too, that goes in the beginning and at the end.
That's
yeah,
one of
creepy.
the most chilling images of this
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
is that slow-moving fire truck and the dead stare of the firemen as they wave
Yeah,
at you.
waving.
Yeah, I don't like it. Audience, let us know, because I used to think it was a contemporary movie that looked old. This time I thought it was a movie set in the past, but now I'm starting to wonder, because you're right, all the beer bottles look contemporary.
Yeah.
The earring. But Laura Dern dresses like she's in the 50s.
Yeah, but not fully. Like, it's not like she's in bobby socks completely. I mean, and they do, like, her friends are a little
Yeah.
homely, I'll say. But at the
Homely.
same time.
Well, you know, people were a lot uglier in the past, is what you're saying. I like the attractiveness of her friends are going to place this in a time period. Yeah, I just didn't know, because even the football team, like their football uniform, looked like a Remember the Titans sort of thing. Wow, this is a thing that I didn't even think we were. Yeah, I didn't even think we were going to talk about this. I just thought it was like, oh, this is set in the past, and I never knew that before. But maybe it's not.
I think, in a sense, it's timeless because of the message that is, I guess, timeless. Because you're right, then there are other aspects that do seem... But then there's other aspects that's like, it's just this portal of David Lynch's brain. Like, it's
Well, right,
not really a
yes.
time period. It's not really like, is that a horse house that they're at when they go with the singer? Or is it, like you said, like an excerpt of a John Waters film? What's happening there with the guy with the white makeup on his face and the singing and the,
Dean
the
Stockwell
singing into
is
the...
amazing in this movie. Like he's on screen for just a couple of minutes, but
but he shines. He shines.
He's
Yeah.
taking attention away from Dennis Hopper in a movie where no one can do that, because he just I love how just dreamy and sort of out of it he appears, and he's
Suave.
smiling, and just he looks like he could fall asleep at any moment.
He's high, I guess. That's
He
right.
was.
He's supposed to be like so high and passing pills into that crazy Frank's mouth.
That lip syncing scene too.
Into like a bright light, mind you.
Oh.
Amazing. Amazing. And the way it's like the screen is, and you could see the way it's shot. It's
And I love how
captivating.
he must just deal with Frank all the time, because at one point Frank's like, "Where the fuck are the fucking goddamn glasses?
Yeah.
I hate more beer."
and he's just
like,
casually looking on,
he's like,
like
"Hun, where are those glasses? If we could just get some for Frank, that would be great."
Frank really wants the glasses. All right, let's see. Wait, how did we get to? Where are we? Let me check.
They've decided to go.
Back to watch her now.
Right, they're going to. Yeah. They find out where she sings, and they have. This is the first conversation about beer in this movie when he sits down with Laura Dern, and he's like, "I love Heineken. Do you like Heineken?" Her response is, "I never had one. My dad just drinks Budweiser."
Yeah.
His response, he just goes, the king of beers. What? What is this?
It's an interesting, their conversations. They're so odd, like the two of them are, that it's endearing. Is that why? So I had a question.
Yeah, sure.
Because remember you did a project in college on Heineken? You did your...
Oh, yeah, I did.
Was that related to his love of Heineken at all? Okay, because I wondered if that was...
No, it was a project where I had to design a holiday case. Like I had to design a holiday label.
It was really well
and then
done.
A holiday case. And I just wanted to make it easier myself, so I was like,
so
what's red and green? I was like, Heineken. Okay, good. I don't really have to give thought to color in this at all.
All right, I see. So It was an easy... I thought you were, like, paying homage to...
Wow, I haven't thought about that forever. I made the case a big triangle, and it was decorated like a Christmas tree, and I realized how awkward it would be to try and hold that or carry it. Yeah, I forgot about that. All right, good one. Right. Nice.
Hey, there you go. So they watch her. We all get to watch Isabella Rossellini sing Blue Velvet for the very first time.
Yes.
Very badly, but I guess sadly seductive, I guess. Because it's not really, even the sex in this movie or the sexual stuff in this movie isn't necessarily seductive to me.
It's not
nothing
what
about
you
it
want
is.
To watch, right?
No, it's kind of like when we had to watch the Panthers make out, or right. What was it?
When they were panthering out in this movie, they panther out all the time, and I can't think of anyone who panthers out harder than Dennis Hopper.
Oh my God, does he panther?
They have a whole routine, and that routine
is disturbing to say the least.
And also, like, amazing how she's like, "Oh, I got to put this chair here, and I got to turn off the real lights, and I got to light a single candle that's on like a wall sconce."
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Anyway, here's another great conversation they have is when he and Laura Dern pull up to the apartment. And he's like, "Okay, I'm here. Don't worry about it. You can go home." And she's like, No. I want to help you out.
She's not going to leave him, yeah.
I'll be on the lookout. And she goes, "If she pulls up, I'll honk 4 times." And that's not all she says, because then she goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
To be clear.
Right.
So that we're clear.
Then... Right after all of this, she says to him, and this is like red flags Laura Dern get out of this relationship. She goes, "I don't know if you're a detective or a pervert." And his response is, "That's for me to know and you to find out."
I know. I thought the same thing. I'm like, Laura Dern, maybe you should be checking off some boxes and being like...
It was like, Kyle MacLachlan, I thought you were the hero of this movie.
No, we're not sure if there's a hero.
No, I don't think there is.
Maybe Laura Dern's mom is, because she gets Isabella Rossellini the coat at the end. Why do they walk her everywhere naked? Why don't they ever put anything on her? He just holds her naked, beat up body closer to him. Like
in the middle. And when they walk her in, and Laura Dern's like, "Mom! And her mom's response is, "I'll be right there. Just give me a couple minutes." Nobody says anything like, "No, hurry up."
Yeah, we have an emergency. So yeah, she tells him she's going to honk 4 times. He goes in, gets into the apartment, and he has to use the bathroom, I guess, and check out her stuff, her bathroom stuff.
It's amazing. And again, while he's peeing, he's going, "Heineken." How much money did Heineken give you for this movie? And also, did they know at one point Frank Booth is going to go, "Fuck that shit"?
You do a good Frank Booth, by the way.
All you have to do is yell a lot.
But your fist, your whole
Oh, yeah, I'm
facial
always
expression,
shaking. I don't think he shakes his fist. They're probably like at his side.
No, because
the
he's
whole
too
time.
busy getting that mask on his face.
You're right.
That's what his fists are used.
Screaming while he's digging around his jacket for a mask.
Oh, man.
It's
So
awesome.
Kyle Jeffrey is flushing the toilet when Isabella does make her way up to stairs with Frank, and Isabella, what's her name in the movie?
She doesn't go up there with Frank. She goes
she goes
alone.
up there alone,
Yeah.
right. But wait, what's her name in the movie? Isabella or Laura Dern? Sarah?
We said Sandy. If that's not right.
Okay.
That's what her name is to us.
She does honk 4 times, but he's flushing the toilet. He doesn't hear it.
That toilet is so loud.
It's the loudest. It takes over the whole bathroom. And he's looking at her trinkets anyway. He's not even listening. Like, they just had this conversation. He's been up there for 5 minutes. She's like, all right. And he says, I think, just give me 10. Right?
I get it. There have been times in my life where I'm like, oh, I have to use the bathroom and I cannot wait. This is a time where you were like, I need to make the most of this situation. I'm not just going to like go into the bathroom to pee, flush the toilet, like wander around a little bit.
Check it out.
Hold it in until you're done.
You know? No, you don't. You go, and then you almost get caught because she comes home.
Who has a giant closet like this in their living room?
It's a great closet, by the way. Well, I feel like, I guess there is a bedroom.
There is a bedroom, because that's where he goes later.
Yeah.
I'm hiding in
setup.
the bedroom.
Yeah. That's right. Onto the... so he's in the closet, and he's peering at her, and first she gets a phone call. First does she take off her wig?
Yeah, she gets
naked?
undressed in her creepy, weird apartment. There's like pink carpet. The walls are kind of like a deep magenta. It's stark. It looks like a David Lynch room.
Yeah.
But then she gets a phone call. She's talking to Frank. And we find out that the perm's a wig at this point.
Yeah, she takes her hair off. We get the feeling that she is in a very compromised, stressful situation, right? Is
it when she crawls around on the floor in her underwear?
The phone call doesn't go well. There's a son involved. We surmise she's being emotionally abused only through a phone call too. We get this, and then she crawls on the floor. There's a picture she looks at, and we're just like, even Kyle's like, what the hell am I gotten into? What the heck is going on here? Right?
Is he, or is he totally into this?
Well, he's into it in the sense
he's totally into this.
Yeah, he's not like.
I mean, because then she finds him. He knocks something over. He does something stupid in the closet and makes some noise. And she grabs a big-ass knife.
From the kitchen.
Like we said, she brings him out, tells him to get down on his knees and take off all his clothes. And the whole time she's like, you like looking at women? You like looking at me when I take off my clothes? I want to see you take off your clothes. And it's her great accent the whole time.
Yeah.
And he does, and then... I don't know what happened. Do they start making out or something?
Yeah, they kind of. Yes, she kind of gets. Well, she kind of goes to give him head for a second, and then she's like, "All right, come here." Yeah, because she's like, "Don't." This is their thing, though. This is her and Dennis Hopper's thing. She's like, "Don't look at me. Don't look at me."
Nobody
Which
wants
now
to look at anyone
I can't say that to anyone without thinking of this movie. Now, just like not even.
Do you say that to a lot of people? You're a mailman. Don't look at me. I can't say that anymore. I feel dirty now. I like how that was just your go-to line in your daily life.
It is.
Now you can't do it.
There's so many moments. It does. So many moments in my life where I just don't want an audience. Don't look at me.
And now we're introduced to
Frank the Tank.
Super fun character.
Wow. He's a mean ass is what I write in my notes.
He is so mean. Like, mean even before he starts hitting her, which, of course, that's terrible. But even when she says something, she's like, so how are you, Frank? And he's like, it's Daddy, you shithead.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mommy, daddy
in this
stuff
part
going
there
on.
is. Yeah, thankfully it doesn't linger throughout.
Right,
as
yes.
heavy as it gets right now. But yeah, when he first comes, he demands a bourbon. He makes her sit on the chair and spread her legs. And she's mommy and he's daddy. And you're like, what's happening? And like you said,
just as we said, like how he has that tank on him. I guess he has scissors somewhere too, because at one point he just has scissors and he's like clacking them in her face and stuff. Where did those come from?
I don't know. Maybe her drawer of sharp objects, where she gets the scissors and she keeps the sharp knives. All of it is in.
Maybe they were under her couch, where she keeps her
where
wedding
her photos are. Keeps very simple decor. This is when we see their kinky. She gets on the floor and he stuffs her mouth with this blue velvet and punches the hell out of her vagina,
yes.
like full boxing her vagina. Basically, it's not sexual at all.
Well, that was. I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, "Oh my god, does he still have those scissors in his hand?" I was like, "Oh, this movie's really gross." But thankfully, I don't know where they went, but they're not in
No, he's
his
not
hand.
with sharp object.
Yeah,
no.
it is. It is very strange. I love it. I understand that normal sex scenes in movies must be somewhat uncomfortable for the actors, and I just watch this. I'm like, how do they do this? Because sometimes I watch actors, and I'm like, I could do that. I don't know how anybody could do this. I mean, whether you are him or her in this scene, they are going for it, and they are doing an amazing job.
Yeah, they're angry, sadomasoch. It's not like, thankfully, it's not anything hardcore where we see we don't have to ever see Hopper's ass, which thankfully we don't. But
just get those Kyle buns.
Just get that sweet Kyle tush. It's truly the epitome of a tush because it's so it's a tush.
Yeah.
It's a very disturbing scene that they have, which is meant to be very disturbing sex, which Kyle watches happen.
Yep.
And he punches her. He gets crazy high with his mask. Like when he puts that mask on, that's why I'm like, I don't know what drug that is, but he gets so angry.
It's so, but things, I mean, watching Dean Stockwell sing Candy Colored Clown makes him angry. It makes him sad and angry at the same time.
Yeah, it's a hard listen, he is. I don't know this.
I love his
past.
reaction when he's mouthing these words, and then he looks over at Des Hopper, and he just stops. He's like, "Oh shit!"
He's like,
I guess we gotta stop this now.
This guy,
this is not gonna end well for someone in this room.
Yeah,
if I keep going with this routine, whatever.
And he just stops it too. Everything just cold stop. What does he tell her? Stay alive for Van Gogh. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, right, because he cut her husband's ear.
Yeah. Van Gogh, so clever. But now
he leaves.
He leaves.
He leaves after he blows out the candle, and he says something like, "Now it's dark," which he says later on he says it several times, and it's supposed to be creepy, and it is because
he's the dark and they're the light. Yeah, not quite the light like Tom Cruise and his friends in the forest.
What is, and we'll get to it, what is with that disguise that he wears? that he is fooling no one?
Nobody.
Because I love it. Because at one point in this movie, Kyle MacLachlan is like, and then there was this guy there, and he was a well-dressed man.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, he's like, detective, Frank's here in that well-dressed man disguise. I'm like, wait,
well-dressed.
So you knew it was a disguise?
Mm-hmm. That is his disguise, that he plays up like a well-dressed man.
I know. It's the equivalent of him just walking in those Groucho Marx glasses with the mustache.
With a drawn-on mustache.
Huge eyebrows and giant mustache that he peels off.
And a wig, right? Is it a wig or just the brows?
Wig,
yeah. Uh-huh.
For no reason, I think.
Well, it's because sometimes when you're Frank, I don't know.
Maybe we shouldn't question what Frank does.
I won't.
This is another scene after this where Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern are talking about sort of what happened once he gets out. And
well, wait, before he talks to her, first he's got his time with Isabella Rossellini, where she's very creepy and wants him to stay and hold her, right? And he is going to leave. And then he sees that he gets the pic. Somehow he gets under the couch. She goes to the bathroom, maybe, and he sees the picture and realizes that he's getting clues to his little mystery here. He realizes that she was married and she has this son, and that's the picture she keeps.
He finally leaves, and Laura Dern's very concerned and everything, and this is where they have some weird discussion in the car, and he's like, why are there people like Frank in this world?
Oh, yeah.
Why does evil exist?
It's a strange world.
To distract him, I think, she just starts talking about a dream she had about robins.
Yeah. But then this robin dream comes to fruition in the end with the mechanical robins. She talks about them being the light, and that was part of her dream, was that yes, there's this darkness in the world. I kind of like this conversation. I thought it was sweet.
This is where they're talking, and this music is playing, and I'm like, wow, this sounds very, I don't know, it's organ music, and I'm like, this sounds very spiritual. And as they drive away,
in front of
there's
a church
in the background.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a wonderful musical choice at that moment. I didn't know it was diegetic sound coming from that church.
But it is interesting, too, that they have this light conversation, this conversation about them, the dark, horrible, strange things that happen in this world. And then she notes this dream, and all of this happens in front of, the house of God.
Yeah, right. There you go.
You see?
We figured it out, Jamie. You got to the...
I'm getting to it. But Kyle MacLachlan, a.k.a. Jeffrey, is getting to the bottom of this mystery, which is what he is conveying to... Like, he's not ready to let it go just yet, and it's a lot heavier than they ever imagined. Frank has kidnapped her husband, and her child has cut off his ear so that she could be basically his sex slave, right?
I guess... It's never really explained why her husband was taken or why her son was taken, or, I mean, is it that simple? I mean, we see that he appears to be a drug dealer and who knows what else he's into. So I didn't know if it was just sort of this guy owed him money or something.
I don't know if there's anything like that. I do know that after all this, Kyle MacLachlan looks at Laura Dern and says, "You're a neat girl." And she agrees that he's a neat guy.
She agrees. You are too.
They're two neat people just trying to solve a very, very random mystery. So he can't get enough of Dorothy. He goes back to her place, and with his love of Heineken, right? He watches her go sing again, right?
He watches her go sing, yeah.
And he sees Frank there watching her with a piece of the blue velvet in his hand. And he's like so disgusted by Frank. Because I think they start making out at one point too. This was when she asked him to hit her, and he won't. And when he has to see...
I feel like that's later.
That happens again later. I think it happens more than once, right?
Oh, okay.
Because then finally he does hit her, which we know then he feels very guilty about, and he cries about that at one point. I'm not laughing that he cried about hitting a woman, but it's just funny when he's like so sad at that one point when he's just crying on the bed about how fucked up his whole adventure with Dorothy.
All of his scenes where he wakes up in bed were always really funny because it's just a big blank wall behind it. Like, it doesn't look like a bedroom. It looks like he's in prison or something.
Yeah, it's very, Again, minimal decor.
He waits for Frank and his gang of thugs to come out, and then he tails them to...
Like a factory
this
apartment?
Place, yeah. It is like a factory apartment.
Yeah.
Because... he stays there, I guess, all night. Stays there through the next day. He's taking pictures.
Yeah, what's this picture box thing that he's got where he's taking pictures?
I don't know. Where did he get this? Where did he get this spy equipment?
He's got this detective equipment on hand. I don't know if that's what... He doesn't ever say what he's studying in college, but...
I don't know. And shouldn't he go back to college? Like, shouldn't he?
No, he's on break till his dad gets better, I guess, or till he solves the crime, whatever comes first.
You know what? I guess you're on leave until Whatever.
Was it summer break? No, I don't know.
I don't know. I assume he left school to come home. I don't know. At one point, we see a storefront, and it has some Halloween decorations out. So it's got to be the middle of the semester.
Fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. He sees a bunch of stuff. He sees the guy in the yellow jacket over at this factory. He sees some different arrangements, exchanges being made.
Yep. He sees Frank dressed up in a goofy disguise.
Yes. Well, I like when he tells Laura Dern, when he kind of ropes her in with this, he tells her, because he does all this more like reconnaissance work, I guess, and he says, 5 minutes from now, you're not going to believe what I just told you.
It's so goofy. He's
and
like,
the
look
delivery
at the clock.
Yeah.
5 minutes from now, you won't believe what I just told you. Okay. All right, let's get down to it. Let's go.
They're back at Adele's where they love to talk, and he's got his picture. He tells her how she's like, I can't believe you have all this. When are you going to pass it off to like somebody else? And he's like, I think she says that earlier on to him too. Oh, when he's like observed all the crazy shenanigans, but he's like, I can't tell anybody because I found out this information illegally. I snuck into her place.
It's basically like, hey, you know my dad's a cop, right?
Yeah,
like, maybe you should talk to him about this. Rather than just constantly visiting this older woman who her husband's ear was cut off by a maniac who you're getting closer to?
You're getting too close. You're getting too close.
Also, my boyfriend Mike doesn't like us hanging out.
Oh, yeah, Mike. That's right. And her friends, she's like, shh, don't tell Mike. She tells her friends every time she gets in his car.
I love it. I love how sad Mike looks when he goes to the fence. And he's like, hey,
I know.
Sandy. Oh, wait. Oh, you're getting in the car.
And she just walks. She goes, it's all right. I'll just call him later and explain it then.
I'll talk to him later. He's not that smart. Whatever.
It's fine. You're super cute, and we're tracking this murder mystery,
right? Yes.
Or this ear mystery.
Yeah. We're this close to having sex, but I'm still dating Mike. Don't worry about that. Like, we're
I need to have
steady.
A high school boyfriend, and then I have you, my college boyfriend.
Right, my college boyfriend.
Yeah, you know
You're
how that goes.
Not having sex with that lady, are you?
No, you don't keep going to her apartment, but alas, that's the next scene we see.
That is the next scene, yes.
So he tells Laura Dern about how he's addicted to the mystery of this whole thing and then kisses her, I think. And then the next scene, he goes back to Blue Velvet's place, Dorothy's place. And again, she wants, there's this time the sex is more like there's lion noises and there's
lion noises,
fire.
There's fire.
Yeah, and does he hit her this time? I don't think so.
He does. Yeah, this is when he hits her because she's like, hit me. And he's like, no. And finally, he's like, you know what? I think they're naked, about to have sex, I think. And he's like, you know what? I really think we should tell the police. Yeah. And she starts flipping out, and that's when he hits her.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, weird time to bring all that up, my friend, but whatever.
Very strange.
As he's leaving after their little
the
rendezvous.
Timing is terrible.
Yikes. Where's the 4 honks now, huh? He bumps right into Frank. Ooh.
And his whole gang. They're all there this time.
They're coming. Yeah, everybody comes to visit at this time of day. Yikes. Yeah. She tries to convince him unsuccessfully. He's just a friend. He's
in the neighborhood. And he's like, oh, neighbor, huh?
Yeah.
What's your name, neighbor?
I like how he tells him, he's like, you want to go for a ride? He's like, no, I don't. You don't want to do what? Go for a ride. Oh, you want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
It's this whole like...
Yeah, I don't want to go. Don't want to go do what? Go for a ride? Hey, that's a great idea. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it because it's so scary. I mean...
Oh, it is. I'm so scared for him. I'm like... Yeah. And you could see the fear in Kyle's face.
Like you hit the little
in the
thing
back.
and you see how much time's left and you're like, okay, I'm just more than halfway through this, so they're not going to kill him yet.
No, but that means they're going to torture him. Yeah.
Oh, the whole thing is... This is easily my favorite stretch of the entire movie. And I don't know if it's just because of Dean Stockwell, but that's what starts it. And then it leads into that lady dancing and there's lipstick involved. And
you're pleased.
It's so fun.
So this is when now they kind of all get kidnapped and shoved into Frank's car, and we're on a wild ride to what Frank calls Pussy Heaven. Is that where we're going? Where these?
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on in this car, because Dennis Hopper's trying to talk to Kyle MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan's all quiet back there. So then the other guys relay the information as to what he said to him.
And Isabella Rossellini's in the front seat right next to Dennis Hopper, looking scared as all get up. And even when they're in that, like, they get to this house, this what's his name's house, and she is like looking all around, like a bat is gonna fly at her at any second. Like, she's just glaring around, like,
yeah, she's looking all around as though she's never been here. And at one point, he's like, let her see the kid. She's like, oh, finally! I thought that's why I was here.
I think he says, "Let tits see the kid." I think that's what he says.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. All right, that's kind of funny. Yeah, this is when they yell about beer before they go into Ben's place. Frank Booth is not a fan of Heineken. He likes Pabst Blue Ribbon.
PBRs is his thing. Yeah.
For some reason,
aggressively
there's so much discussion about beer in this movie. I don't understand.
We mentioned where this is, so there's these two overweight women, older women there. We don't know who they are, or they're just kind of guarding the door that she gets to go into when she talks to her son. And
this is a part of the movie where I still remember the first time I saw this, just the interaction between her and the kid, because you don't hear the child, but you hear her behind this closed door being like, no, Mommy loves you. And I was like, are they all just gaslighting Kyle MacLachlan? Like, is there no husband kidnapped? Is there no kid kidnapped? Are they all in on this?
I don't know.
I mean, you find out no, I guess, but it's a weird interaction that you just hear her.
Yeah.
And then she comes out later looking so sad. I'm like, this is so sad.
It is. She does look really sad. And then does she come out and get treated to the song? Does she get to see
She sees
Suave
the song,
sing?
I think.
Yeah.
I think everybody sees the song. I'd be so mad if I were here and I missed it.
And you missed it, right? And then to end that is when Dennis Hopper screams, "Let's fuck!" Right? And he...
Yeah, he screams out fuck anything that moves, too.
Yeah. And then they all get back in the car, and Frank is very high. Not that he hasn't been very high throughout. Oh, he gets a pill sneaked into him, right? He gets... Clearly, Suave is also his drug dealer.
Right? Yes. But also, this is a... And if you know later David Lynch, it feels like this movie at times when Frank Booth starts yelling about, them leaving.
Oh, yeah.
And the camera like zooms in and then they just disappear.
Yeah.
For just a second.
They just go bloop,
and I was like, oh, that makes me feel like I'm watching any of his movies made after the year 95, because they all do things like that.
They all have those moments.
It's scary. And they disappear and you see that there's like a big clown puppet sitting on that couch
Yes.
I don't like it. It's weird. I never want to be in a room like this with people like this, but I'm so happy to watch it on a TV
I agree.
screen.
When they got to their place, I was like, oh, this is shady. This is the kind of situation that when someone says take a ride and you're like, well, I guess we're going to get some good drinks or good drugs out of this. And you get there and you're like, oh, this was a bad idea. A bad idea. Now they go for this drive. He's driving 100 miles per hour. Things are getting crazy. He's so high. He hits the mask again and he starts playing with her boobies and giving her little titty twisters, and this is when Kyle MacLachlan loses it. He can't. I think he gives her like a purple nurple or something. Like he squeezes her. Really
I don't know.
hard.
Her reaction to this is great because she's just looking around like, there are other people in this car, right? It's not just us. I mean, we do some weird shit when we're in my apartment.
Right, but we're kind of
in public.
So high.
I don't even know this woman in the pink skirt. I've never met her before.
Someone else's drive. How many people have fit in this car? It's like a clown car. So many people.
He's got 3 henchmen. There's Frank. There's Isabella. There's Jeffrey, and then there's this woman. There's 7 people in that car.
I mean, it's the woman in the trunk, because we don't see her till she's dancing later.
No. She's sitting on that dude's lap. They're making out the whole time.
That's right, yeah. All right, so Kyle, this is when he decides enough's enough, and he punches, right? Doesn't he hit Frank to stop? First, he says, "Why don't you leave her alone?" And Frank's so crazy high. Dennis Hopper's like crazy high is just like so crazy. And so, yeah, he hits him, and now shit's going to get real. Like, Jeffrey, what are you thinking? You're going to punch this high dude in the face?
You know what? This is another point, another thing in your defense.
Yeah.
Because what does he take? He listens to Candy Colored Clown, and what does he take? In the car, and then puts it in a cassette. Cassette tapes weren't around in the 50s and 60s.
There you go.
He puts that cassette in the car to then play the song.
Right.
This is a contemporary movie. This is blowing my mind now.
It's coming.
Because that is what I used to think, but then I was convinced
and you were out of that thought, and
50s.
now you're welcome back to that thought. There you go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw this off. But
and let it sink in.
Exactly. Let it sink in, everybody.
Let this sink in. This is when Hopper puts the lipstick on and is kissing him and telling him about the love letter he's going to write to him.
Just giving him so many smooches and talking about love letters. I mean, it's scary, yes, but also it's super fun.
It's crazy. When I talk about watching it, I'm like, oh, what the frick, Jeffrey? I don't know what he's going to do to you. But talking about it, I'm like, what? How crazy. Oh, this is when the girl is dancing on the car, and she's just high, and she swaying her hips.
She just gets out and climbs on top of this car, and isn't really dancing. She's just like robotically moving around.
Just swaying back and forth.
Isabella Rossellini's sitting in the car crying, just like yelling, stop, stop,
don't do this. I'm so sad.
Stop. Yeah.
Right. He takes the velvet out, and Isabel Rossellini's like looking like, what's he going to do with the velvet? That's our thing, the velvet. And then he just starts punching him, just harder and harder in the face and in the gut and and then we see that fire and the candle again, kind of like we saw when they were having sex earlier.
Sure.
And then Jeffrey wakes up, and they just kind of left him, and he's just totally bruised.
Yep,
but he's not far from home. Yeah, he's not too far from home because he gets home. He calls.
They drove forever.
Yeah, I felt like they were in a field too somewhere, but then no.
It's like, oh, he's back later on that afternoon.
Yeah, he's home. He calls Sandy and is like, I'm in too deep now. Like, shit got really crazy last night. We're gonna have to meet and we'll talk. I love it. His mom and his aunt, like, he comes downstairs and his face is like purple.
It's so great because he's just like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And his aunt is like, Jeffrey, sometimes, and he's like, I love you, but you're going to get it.
Yeah, well, and he's focused now.
He also goes to the police station.
Yes, he brings these photos.
And he sees the man in yellow. He's a cop. So he sees this, and then he's like,
and he sees him, right?
Yes, yeah. He's like, I'll just pretend to be using the drinking fountain in the police station, which is just what people do. They wander off the street if they
just need a little water from the police. It's safe water. That's what it is.
But now he goes to Laura Dern's father and is like, hey, I got all these pictures. Check them out. And you see Laura Dern's father become upset when he sees that the man in yellow is in these photos and he's interacting with Frank Booth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he and Laura Dern are still on for Friday.
Oh, yeah, they have a Friday date. They have a Friday date. And
are they going to like a prom? Like, I thought I know they don't go to a prom, but she's like putting on this dress and it's like a corsage, and then they end up going to like a wood paneling party.
Yeah. No, is it a wood paneling party?
Well, no, I just... It's in like a wood panel basement. It's just a house party. So Kyle MacLachlan goes to pick Laura Dern up for this house party date that they have.
Yes.
Because that's what you want to do when you're in college, is go hang out with a bunch of high schoolers. Why not? We do get to see her friends again. She's great. Yeah. So anyway, he sees... Laura Dern's dad's like, hey, don't worry about it. We got this under control. Right. No big deal. Right. He sees the man in yellow show up.
Yes.
And her dad even looks at him like, hey, don't make a
hey,
scene.
It's not for you, right? You weren't even supposed to. And I love it the whole time. Laura Dern is very concerned, like, just don't drag me into it. Don't tell. How else would he get all this information? And then mysteriously he's hanging out with his daughter and
I don't know, because it is really funny how she's like, you didn't tell me it was me.
Right.
He's like, no, of course not. Her dad walks around the corner and she's like, we're still on for Friday, right? Dad, what's the problem?
Everything's okay, right?
Oh my God. Anyway, so they go to this party. She talks to her friends for half a second.
Yeah.
Her friends are so into this relationship.
Yeah, they think he's a
I want a movie
cutie
about
pie.
her friends and Dean Stockwell's life. That's the
Those are the
movie
two
I
you
want.
wanna
They're two
see.
different movies.
Yeah.
Right. They dance to a Julie Cruz song that you cannot dance to.
Okay. Yeah, they do.
It is so slow and it's very strange.
Yes.
As her music is.
Do they kiss? Did they kiss again?
They kiss.
Yeah.
This is when they tell each other
They
that they love each
that's
other.
right.
And when they're leaving, they're being tailed and they're being rammed.
Yeah.
Like
somebody's like, rear-ending them. And first he's like, it's freaking Frank. It's that knucklehead. He's so dangerous. We have to get away from him. But no, it's Mike from the football team.
I love it when she's like, oh, that's just Mike. Like, he was smashing into your car, but even Kyle MacLachlan's like, oh, it's just Mike.
Yeah,
Let me just pull over. Let's get out of the car. We'll talk it out. It'll be great.
Mike doesn't have a mask that he sucks on and then becomes a lunatic who's got...
Right. Yeah. You know what? I guess compared to what he's been through, what are a
Let's
couple
talk
of
to
like
Mike.
drunken high school jocks. Yeah.
Exactly. But when they stop, all of this happens in front of Kyle's house, right?
Because I guess Isabella Rossellini knows where he lives. I know she looked at his ID for 2 seconds.
I mean, she takes a lot in. Lot in. Maybe she kept the ID for all we know. Or maybe Frank knew, because she was like left there maybe by, I don't know. She's naked and been beat up.
No, if Frank knew, his mom and aunt would be like
dead. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
They would be choking on strands of blue velvet.
Right.
I
raped your elderly aunt.
I fucked her. That's what he would say.
Right.
Oh man. So yeah, she's there and she's naked, and this is enough to make Weird Mike out, right? They're like, "Oh man, sorry, awkward timing. We are really sorry. We didn't mean that we were gonna." Because at first, when Mike gets there, he's like, "Oh, you stole my girl. I'm gonna kick your ass." And like you said, Kyle MacLachlan's literally like, "Really? I just had Frank like pounding on my face."
It's so funny.
And
Mike apologizes at least 4 times to him, to the point where Kyle MacLachlan's like, "Listen, man, it's okay. Don't worry about it." But I thought it was funny because Mike isn't so apologetic at first. This naked Isabella Reedy like rises out of the bushes and wanders, and Mike goes, "Was that your mom?"
Yeah, first he's kind of a jerk, and then he takes it back. And now they take it naked. They barely try to cover her up. They take Isabella.
What did they put on her in the car? They put like a washcloth on her.
I think it's just
nothing.
like part of what's her name's sweater that she's like using to half cover her up.
Part of her sweater. I'm not going to take this off.
No,
but
exactly.
You can have like the part, the hanging part.
Exactly. They take her inside to Laura Dern's house, and they have to call the cops, and she gets taken away basically like kind of like not a straitjacket, but she's tied down to a gurney.
Right, and I also don't understand, like, they're at Jeffrey's house. Why are you driving her all the way to Laura Dern's
because
house?
It's Laura Dern.
You're right there.
Because the detective, the father,
the dad's not even there. He's out on
but they don't know that,
outing.
I think because he says, "Is your father home?" And she's like, "I don't know." And because when they come in the house, I think she's like, "Is Dad home?"
And through this whole discussion with naked Isabella and I don't know, it takes them forever to find like a trench coat or something.
Yeah. She stands there just naked, grasping onto
the whole time. And Jeffrey is put in a strange position
Yes,
here where
yes.
she's calling her like her secret lover and
Yes,
stuff,
and he's-
right in front of sad Laura Dern.
So this is when we get
crying
full
Laura
clown
Dern.
face Laura Dern, where she's just like, she can't believe it because they've just confessed their love to each
Yes.
other, right? And now it's clear, and she's had her suspicions. You could see there were times that throughout the movie, Laura Dern would look suspiciously at him, like, "Why are you staring? Why are you watching her sing so long? Why are you going back over to her apartment?" Yada yada yada. But now she is crazy, though. Even at some point, though, she tells about one of the points when Isabella Rossellini is having sex or seducing Kyle MacLachlan. She says, "I'm not crazy. You know that, right? I'm not crazy," even though clearly it's just not all there, right?
Right. Yeah, if somebody says I'm not crazy,
Yeah.
chances are they're
Usually
crazy.
that means that they're not. Yeah.
Right.
She gets really sad, Laura Dern, because
There's a point, and I did not watch this with subtitles, but then I had to turn them on because Isabella Rossellini, when they finally cover her with the coat, she looks over at Laura Dern and she says, "He put his disease inside me." And I was like, did she just say he put his penis inside?
that's what I thought she said.
like, hey, guess what this dude did?
But she says disease.
No, disease, and I assume she's talking about Frank. I don't really know, but I had to go back and I had to see the words because I was like, is she just giving Laura Dern a bunch of shit right
And now
now?
does that mean that Kyle has the disease, whatever
I
disease
don't,
this is?
but I don't think it's a literal disease.
Like a
I
disease,
would
like
think it
he's
is
crazy. Yeah,
yes,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, is she spreading STDs around this town now?
Like, hey, sister, watch out.
Exactly. Now you too have herpes. There's a cream for it, okay?
I love this, and it was probably because I did have to rewind it to turn on the subtitles, but I just loved watching Kyle MacLachlan's face. Like, look over at Laura Dern, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like, shit.
All this kind of happened.
Shit,
like,
yeah.
Oh, gosh.
We might have slept together a few times.
Right, a few
I mean,
times.
she's kinky, but
Right.
You know?
It's weird.
But I
Listen,
love you. I don't love her.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love you. I will make a list of what she and I did in case you're into it.
Right.
Just peruse it.
Yeah, just see what things you might be into or you might want to try. Right.
Getting hit sounds bad. I get it. It sounds bad.
But it really
But maybe
ups
we'll
the
just
sexual,
try it
I
once
don't
or
know.
twice.
It enhances something, I guess.
Yeah. How will you know you're not into it unless we try
That's
it once or
what
twice?
you got to tell her, right? That's how you put it out there. Oh.
Yeah. Then an ambulance from 1957 shows up.
Yes.
And they put her in it, and then it's like a weird smash cut to Laura Dern
On the phone? Yeah.
forgiving him over the phone. Like, I guess he went to the hospital with her.
Right.
And then she's like, I forgive you. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean, listen, from what you told me, this might not be the weirdest thing that even happened to you
Yeah.
today.
Right. And listen, it's clear that this lady is a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? So,
Yeah, she's a little bit nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't sleep with her. Maybe she was just lying, right? Right? Right?
Wink.
I'm giving you an
Hey.
out right
Yeah.
now.
Then, after he's kind of forgiven, he's goes back to her apartment.
Ooh,
And
this is something too.
something. What a thing to come on to.
Yes.
There's the man in the yellow coat. Is that who's there and dead? There's two dead men, and the one's got his
Yeah,
mouth stuffed
I
with blue
don't-
velvet.
I don't think he's dead.
All the
yet.
way? He's not all
Or
the way
he
dead?
is. I don't know. He's standing up.
Yeah.
He's
Not
standing
for
up
long,
and
though.
swaying.
Yeah.
And at one point, he like knocks over the lamp that's next to him when his radio goes off. But clearly, like you can see part of his brain,
Ooh, yeah. Busting
on
out.
his head. Like
He's got an
It's-
injury. Yeah.
he's
That's for
injured.
sure. Yeah.
And then Isabella Rossellini's husband
Yes, because he's only
is
got the one
tied
ear.
to a chair. Yeah, and he's dead because you see the hole in his head
Right.
and like goo or brains are in the
Goo.
kitchen.
It's goo that comes out of your head
It's
when you're
just-
shot in the head. It's just goo.
It's just like slime or something. I don't know.
It's just some
Whatever.
Welch's grape jelly smacked on the wall. That's what comes out of
Yep.
your head when you get shot. Just the goo.
And it's just so weird. Like it's so, and And the more disturbing thing about this is Isabella Rossellini, when she was naked in his front yard, she's like, oh, they did the horrible things. I'm like, oh, she was there for this, whatever this is.
And this looks like it was bad, whatever it was.
Yeah, and I don't...
And it was definitely signed by Frank, right?
Right, yeah. We can infer what happened. I don't know if Frank found out that the man in yellow was a cop, or that, it was his plan all the time, that he was using this cop, and I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But we find out because Kyle MacLachlan uses the police radio to call
the detective,
father,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to be like, hey, I'm at her apartment.
Right.
There's all sorts of weird shit happening here. It cuts to the cops at Frank's apartment, and people are shooting at them, and they're shooting back. I guess this is Frank's gang members. I guess we are to believe that they are there.
Right.
Yeah. But Frank is not there.
Nope. Not yet. He's in disguise.
That's why he's disguised.
Yep. And then he has his own radio walkie, right? And he's like, you asshole, of course I've got my own. So he knows.
Did you forget I had a radio?
Kyle's up there.
You didn't even turn your radio off. You have a minute to live.
He knows he's in the bedroom, even though Kyle was smart and he ran, or Jeffrey was smart. He ran from the bedroom and he's hiding in his famous hiding spot, the closet.
There is, and you can barely hear it. I thought it was really funny. Frank does, as he's walking down the hall, go, I know where your cute little butt's hiding.
He does say cute little butt. Yeah.
And he's right. As you said, it's a cute little butt.
It is a cute little tush. It definitely is. Does he have the mask? I feel like he hits the mask a few times.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He puffs the mask and he gets ready to go ape shit on Jeff. And then Jeff jumps out of the closet and shoots him right in the head.
Shoots him right in the head. And we see like this rubber head explode.
Yep. Back and to the left.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And
then Laura Dern
Dern's
shows up
there.
like right when this happens.
Right, just missed it by a minute, the timing.
Yes.
Laura Dern and her father show up.
Yep, her dad's there.
And wow, you're okay, Kyle. You're okay.
Problem solved. Issue resolved.
Mystery complete.
And my God, this ending is
bizarre.
So weird.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dream sequence. And Laura Dern is washing dishes with with his aunt and his mother,
with
right?
his aunt.
And he's watering the lawn like his father once did.
He's just lounging. Remember, he's just laying down outside, watching a mechanical bird in the tree.
That's right. And it's totally a mechanical... First, I was like, wait a minute, are they just trying to animate that bird? No, it's like an animatronic, like a... Yeah.
This means something.
Oh, yeah.
It's
really... Well, because...
It means something. No, I mean, the fact that it's a mechanical
that it's
bird
mechanical, yeah.
means something. I don't know, but...
That it's not real? I don't know.
Right. This is done on purpose. You can get
There's
a real
a message
bird very
here.
easily.
There's a message here, yeah.
Right.
I don't know exactly what that is, but this movie, I think, is got lots of different messages, societal messages, and, whatever. But then, it's a strange world.
It's a strange world. And if you were worried or concerned or wondering, as I was, we actually do close on Isabella Rossellini and her son at the park.
Yes, don't worry. She's hugging him. She's so happy to be back with him. We don't know, though, if this was when they started out or at the end. That's what I wondered.
Ooh,
I was like,
I wasn't even thinking that.
Like, because before we see Isabella, we also get to see that same creepy fireman again waving, remember? And we see all the tall flowers and the same kind of images that we saw in the beginning. And we see Isabella hugging her son. And in one way, you could look at it like, oh, happy ending even for her. She's reunited. But I thought, oh, is this how it all began? That she was at the park with her son, and that's when they came and got her?
You're right, because we did see that fire engine again. Mm-hmm. Wow.
You just don't know. What a trippy.
Her son is wearing that stupid hat, too.
Yeah, so the weird dunce hat, yeah.
Yeah, I miss my son. I look at this dunce cap anytime I miss him.
He hates me, though, now. Donnie Jr. The end of Blue Velvet. What a strange world.
And and I gave my feelings. I like it. I don't think it's one of his best, but it was very enjoyable to watch again after not having seen it for years and years. I don't know the last time I saw this, but you had never seen it before. Mm-mm. So your thoughts?
I didn't not like it. I didn't love it necessarily. It wasn't but I definitely liked a lot of aspects of it, but it's pretty dark and it's pretty, but I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Yeah. No, I can see that.
There were parts of it that I was like, oh, that's cool how that and
right.
Very worth watching. Would recommend it with caution. Like I said, under the right, don't watch it with your parents or anything like that. You might be a little embarrassed. No, I'm just kidding.
This is not just the movie to be like, oh, I'll try this
It's not a lighthearted, right.
Yeah. Like, oh, you know what? I recently watched the latest Avengers movie. Maybe I'll follow it up with some Blue Velvet. That's probably not going to be your bag.
But it was good. It was good. What are your recommendations? Right. Where did you say them already?
I have one recommendation,
okay.
And I'm only recommending it because it's another weird movie. And also, I may have recommended it before.
Oh, okay.
Did I recommend a movie called Woodshock before? Does that sound familiar?
What? Give me the...
All right. Okay. Well,
Woodshock.
Okay. So it's a recent movie. It's from 2017.
I don't think so.
I'll give you the plot of this movie, and then because the plot's very simple. Kirsten Dunst plays a woman who works at like a head shop or a dispensary.
Okay.
And she has I don't know if she developed it or if she just found it, a very hallucinogenic strain of marijuana.
Okay.
That's the plot of the movie.
Okay.
That's it. It is here's the thing that I'll say about this movie. I fell asleep while watching it. And then I woke up and I rewound because I was like, oh, I missed 10 minutes. And I was so on board that I was like, how did I fall asleep? First of all, nothing happens in the movie. If you want to watch a movie where Kirsten Dunst wanders around her kitchen, looking for her keys for 10 minutes.
This is
that
movie.
Sounds entertaining to you. It's a movie that's directed by these two sisters who are fashion designers.
Oh.
The movie
is it the Olsen twins?
No, it's not the Olsen twins. I put their names, the Malavi, something.
Okay.
The movie looks amazing.
Okay.
It is an amazing looking movie, and the things they do with weird filters and colors, and because it's a psychedelic
trippy,
movie, it's very trippy.
Okay.
Nothing really happens in the movie at all. It's just kind of like Kirsten Dunst floating through her life.
Okay.
There's kind of a plot. It's not even worth it, but it's a movie that if you just I'm not going to say maybe smoke a joint or have half an edible and you just want something in the background.
But this will do the trick. Yeah.
It really is a movie that if you just it's something that you can wash over you.
Okay.
It is. I don't know. I mean, that is a very qualified recommendation because I fell asleep while watching it. Yeah,
and you stated that. Yeah, but then you said you woke up and were sad that you would do that. So
I woke up and I was like, this is a beautiful movie. So, I don't know. Nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody saw it. So, watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out.
Fair enough. I like it. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to go with 3 recommendations. But this is why. Wait, this is why. So, if I had to take the actors, Kyle MacLachlan, if you've ever seen him in the episodes of Portlandia that he's in, where he plays the mayor of Portland.
Okay, yes.
He's phenomenal in it. And I know he's been in other things, but it's just fun to see him in that. And Laura Dern, did you ever see the HBO series Enlightened? It was on from 2011 to 2013. It's really good. It's about a woman in her 40s who has a mental breakdown, and she is, goes on to this spiritual path to kind of figure out who she is. Luke Wilson's in it, and she's phenomenal in it, or she's really good in it. So those are the 2 actors, my recommendations off of them. Then my recommendation for style of movie or what this movie reminded me of, the movie I Smile Back. It's 2015, maybe. Yeah, I think 2015. It's with Sarah Silverman, and she plays a very dramatic role. She does a great job. The movie itself, it's not as trippy and stuff as Blue Velvet, but she plays this mom, this wife who's like addicted to painkillers. So it's really sad, and her performance is really good, but there's a lot of disturbing things that she does because she's on these painkillers and because she's and it made me as uncomfortable as parts of Blue Velvet did.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
the movie itself has got some cheesy parts, and it could have been better written. But Sarah Silverman does a great job in a very dramatic role. So I think it's kind of worth it. It's disturbing, though. It's just disturbing. Right. It's called I Smile Back. Okay. And so that would be my actual movie recommendation. The other two are shows.
Recommendations, everybody.
Get it. Right? This is what Blue Velvet will do.
Yeah, right. So before we say what movie we're going to do next time, I just want to remind people to go to our Patreon page.
Yes.
Patreon.com.
Okay.
/Good Times Great Movies, because shortly, June 1st, Jamie, we're putting up a new episode on our Patreon.
New for the patrons.
Where we're going to talk about the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, our first Arnold movie, Commando.
Commando, with Alyssa Milano, right? A very young Melissa Milano.
Very young Alyssa Milano. Playing Arnold's daughter because, of course, it makes sense.
Right?
You know, they look so much alike.
Yeah.
They have similar accents. And I think, I don't know, I haven't seen it in so long. I loved it as a kid.
I did.
I'm
watched
looking
it a
forward
lot.
to watching a goofy, just stupid action movie. And that will be up for patrons.
Just for you patrons.
Just for you patrons on June 1st. So if you're interested in looking back at our old episodes or seeing what we have there, go over. Check it out.
It's fun.
2 weeks from now, we celebrate our 4-year anniversary.
End
of 4 years of doing this. Yes. So we decided to do something very different. As in the past, we had our listeners vote on the movie, but they voted from a collection of documentaries. And I have to say, we weren't that close to watching a 40-minute documentary on garlic, but I was very
hoping.
excited.
When I saw that, I was like, I do love garlic. I
was like, 40 minutes. Okay, let's do it. Garlic. I watched the trailer for it. I was enthralled.
I watched the trailer. I was like, I got to know. I got to know.
Yes, we're not doing it because it came in last, but I'm totally watching it.
I'll do it too. I'll watch it. Maybe it'll be a patron episode.
Oh my God, we should.
Like
yes.
our choice out of the documentaries was dead last, but we still did it because it's our fucking show, damn it.
God damn it.
We'll ask you to vote, but we're still going to
just
do what
rig
we
this poll. We trusted you, and you did not pick the garlic movie.
Fools.
So the other two were very, very close. So close that it ended up being a single vote.
Yowzers.
That swayed one. So we're going to do the hair metal band documentary, Decline of Western Civilization Part 2.
All right. We're coming for you.
Yes. A documentary on big hair metal. I don't know. I've never seen it. I've seen the first one. The first one's on, sort of like the punk scene.
Okay.
This one, just because of the bands, it's something a listener of ours, Michael, has been trying to get us to do for so long, because he's told me several times just through, Facebook or whatever. He's like, it's so goofy. It's so silly. These bands are ridiculous. You have to do it.
All right.
So
this one's
as a
for
favor,
you,
I was like, I'll throw this into the mix.
Yeah. And it's
it
the
almost
winner.
didn't win, but it did. Yes.
Excellent.
So we will do that in 2 weeks' time.
Coming at you.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody.
Thank you.
Blue Velvet. Thank you for listening.
Velvet.
I feel like you thank our listeners. I don't know if I ever thank people for listening, but thank you so much for listening.
I appreciate it. You appreciate it too. You're a silent appreciator.
Of course I appreciate it. This is why we do this. We do this for you people.
And I'm so glad the people enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy it. Now go stick some velvet in your mouth and
go velvet in your mouth. Breathe in whatever gas you got around. It doesn't really matter.
Put a gas mask on and get fucking angry. Yeah.
I would huff several things until you find one that makes you angry, and then you got it. That's it. You figured it out. Gasoline? Possibly.
Maybe.
Don't know.
I'm not sure.
All right. Find us on the things. Find us on the Twitter and the Facebook and the Instagram.
Sure.
It's either Good Times Great Movies or GTGM Cast.
That's how
Type
it
those
does.
in. You can find us.
There you go.
All right,
Be
everybody,
savvy.
we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Watch Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. Watch that garlic documentary, too.
Yeah.
I do think we have to do that at some sort of Patreon time. Everybody,
All right.
we'll talk to you.
And dreams I told to you. In dreams you're mine. All of the time
Heineken? Fuck that shit!
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. You may have heard the word creepy sex.
Yeah, that's what I
Actually,
heard
that's
when
two
I
words.
put it on. Okay.
Listen, I'm just recommending movies while you're gone because we don't have to do that at the end.
No, what? Oh, did you?
No, we will.
Oh,
No, we
I was
will.
like, well, I can't miss it.
So thank you for listening, everyone. And please visit 25thframemedia.com. Go over there, check out a list of shows that are on the network along with us. Today, I'd like to highlight a show that we have no business being on the same network with, this caliber of show. And it is called Magnificent Obsession. And it is hosted by the lovely, the wonderful, the super intelligent Alicia Malone. Some of you may know Alicia Malone. She is a host on TCM, and her podcast is interviews with, I'm going to say, industry insiders. Her latest interview is with Jesse and Leonard Maltin. She also recently interviewed Eddie Muller. And I really look forward to her episodes. It's a wonderful insight into the business of filmmaking, film critique, most of it behind the camera. It doesn't just deal with older films. I think that's sort of what she does tend to focus on day to day, of course, being a host at TCM. But it is fascinating. She is a wonderful host. If you are looking for more, I guess, Australian accents in your life as well, it's a great listen. The shows are roughly a half hour as well. So it's, I don't want to say it's not a deep dive interview, but it's digestible. So head over, subscribe to the 25th Frame master feed. You will get our show. You will get every other show on the network will just automatically pop up. It's an easy way to get our show, definitely. And it's an easy way to become exposed to shows that you may not have found otherwise. And if there's a show you don't like, when it pops up, you just delete it. The end. But I guarantee you, you will like way more shows than you dislike. I don't know if that's a selling point. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will talk to you again in a couple of weeks with our 4th anniversary show. Okay, thanks. Bye.